What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How is everybody feeling today? Another Saturday, another show. Got the most lit podcast on the weekends. We appreciate you guys out here hanging out with us, man. Thank you guys so much. You come out every week, show support. As you guys can see, we running a pick and roll today. That's what I call it when we a little bit short. But I got my right hand man here, Fuzzy Belvedere. Everybody, go ahead and give yourself a shout out, Fuzzy. Let everybody know what's going on with you, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Fuzzy Belvedere here. You can usually see me on Twitter or on Xbox Live. Been playing a lot of Devil May Cry lately, so looking forward to talking about some games today.
All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Shout out to my boy Zalk, hanging out with his sister. Happy birthday to his sister as well. Shout out to the boy Jarhead, man. Appreciate you. I know you're listening right now. Once again, everybody, drop a like on the video. It helps the show be seen on YouTube. Appreciate you guys so much. Once again, subscribe as well. We are on the road to 2K subscribers this year. Help me hit that number, guys. Appreciate you guys so much. Doing a lot of cool things here as well, man. We got a lot of awesome things coming up on the show. But let's go ahead and dive in, man. We got some awesome topics. A disclaimer here, the show's probably not going to run for as long as it usually does. Since it's just me and Fuzz, it's probably going to run for about 40, 45 minutes. But we're going to rock out and get our thing in either way, man. So let's just go ahead and dive in, Fuzz, man. So we're going to go ahead this week. I don't usually start with this topic, but we're going to start with the poll of the week. And we're going to start with that. If you're new here, we always do a poll of the week. Every Monday, I throw it up on Twitter. So if you're not following me, make sure you guys follow me below, because I always make sure I do that. We have to have a lot of fun here. And the reason I do is because, we talk about a lot of the same stuff. And I always like to throw curveballs in the chat. I always like to throw curveballs at people here watching. So let me go ahead and get this pulled up real quick, guys. And here we go. So the poll of the week was, what features would you want in Halo Infinite if you had your choice? Very, very interesting question. So the options were open world, battle royale, bigger boss fights, or other. So we're going to go ahead and open this up with you, Fuzz, man. I know you kind of replied today about that, but what feature out of those options would you want in the next Halo?
I kind of want to see some open world stuff, so that way you don't just have the normal storyline missions, the linear stuff. I want to be able to do some side quests, whether it's learning more about the lore or just having it where it's something you can do as far as in co-op. Having an open world setup would be a nice added touch to it. I mean, had a lot of fun with Halo 5, but if it was a little bit more variety as far as instead of it going back and forth between like different characters and things like that, just have it where there's some different branches and things you can, either take on first or, go back to the main storyline, things along those lines. So that would be the biggest thing I'd look forward to on Halo Infinite.
Okay. I always thought, what the funny thing about Halo, the weird thing about it is that there's so much lore. Halo, if you don't know, there's a whole entire book series of Halo, like all the backstories of all the different characters we get into. And one thing that I never understood, the first like 3 Halos, we got, the lore drew people in, and for whatever reason, they kind of gotten away from that. It became more about cinematics, more about, different gameplay ideas, different settings, less about the actual lore. And that's what got people into the actual game. Essentially the first 2, 3, 4 Halos, that's what got people into it. And I'd love to see open world as well as them bringing more of the lore to suck people in. That's why people play Destiny. That's why I'm a big Destiny fan, because I love the characters and the story behind what's going on. And I don't think they put that in the forefront enough. And with open world, I feel like they're going to be able to do that. Now, I mean, do you think, second question, I guess we could break this into 2 parts. Do you think we're going to be able to, wouldn't it be cool to kind of move around the different installations kind of at will? Like complete a mission on one Halo ring and then go to another Halo ring and finish it out? Or, have, I don't know, Destiny-ish, but what do you think about that idea of being able to kind of bounce around a little bit?
I think adding that mix to it will definitely give a lot more replayability beyond the multiplayer. I mean, I know a lot of people will go through like the story and then maybe they'll do it as like a co-op thing, but if you can bounce around from installation and from installation to installation and stuff like that, it's definitely going to make it so, all right, if you did it solo, let's go back to that one, do it as co-op, or just try a couple of things differently. Like, all right, I'm going to try just using a pistol instead of like a sniper rifle or something along those lines going through that mission. So it'll definitely add to the replayability. I think it'll add to the overall lifespan of beyond multiplayer. So a lot of people want more story and more things to happen. So if they can have that type of story like branches and things like that you can go from place to place. That will definitely help.
Yeah, I got this feeling though. Now I'm gonna say two things here, and I don't want y'all to tear me up, chat. But I feel like I feel like some people want Halo to be more like Destiny is, want Halo to be more like Anthem. I feel like that's some people's. I've seen some ideas on Twitter, and no idea is a bad idea, but I think that some people like want Halo to like morph into this Destiny-ish kind of game, but I don't think that that's what Halo is. Halo is a trendsetter. It is it's in the upper echelon of video games. You would agree with that, right, Fuzzy? As far
Oh
as
yeah.
just franchises as a whole, it's up there with the Gears, the
Mhm.
God of Wars, those Uncharted, The Last of Us, those high tier echelon games. One thing I think will be cool, and one thing that I want to see from the new Halo is innovation.
Yeah.
Halo needs to do something that nobody else is doing, and I have this sneaking suspicion that they're going to do something that we didn't even see coming. Now, shout out to Jez. Jez just put out a tweet recently saying he's super excited for the game. He didn't. He said he didn't have any, inside information, but he just believes that the money, as well as the support, as well as some of the things that they're doing with this Halo that he's heard about, are unprecedented as far as the type of resources they're putting behind this next Halo. So, what do you think? I mean, what do you think could be something that's like left field? Like, man, I don't see, like, what could you think that could be that would really turn Halo Infinite and make it really stick out and stand out, and like not say the reboot, but kind of get some more steam behind that franchise?
It's going to seem kind of weird with me saying this, but one of the things I liked about like the Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2 was just the strategy and the setup part. And I know it's a totally different type of style of game, but I'm wondering if there's ways that, based on like if it is an open world, you have an installation, you do your reinforcements, you build it up, you can have it set so that way you can jump into a battle based on the way you set that strategy, or have it where you may have other people be able to help out with that installation as far as either protecting it or defending it, either through like an offline thing where okay, you've already set that you're going to have this many Marines there, you're going to have this many vehicles there, have it where somebody
Oh,
can use that as kind of like a
wow.
playground type of thing.
Wow.
I've never really seen a game do that, but I know there's a lot of like turn-based strategy type games where you focus more so from a distance. But if you could turn that into like its own battle, like you know Fuzzy's installation, battle, I guess 8,051 or something like that,
Yeah.
and you get to see based on how some people set up their base strategy or something like that, how it can affect like an outcome or affect a like just a small battle that you might be able to have like a not just the accolades or prestige from it, but just have something that you can kind of make your like in a weird way. It's almost like when you look at Forza, how you can create your
Uh-huh.
own races and your own championships and stuff.
Yeah.
I think if you could do something along those lines, but in Halo, where it's like you're setting up the battle, you're setting up the battlefield and everything for it, and all the weaponry that can be used. I think that would be a nice new change or new spin on, not necessarily matchmaking, but just different things you can create as far as battles or side stories and things like that.
Yeah, that would, you know what? That's a really, I never considered that. Like, they would have to refine it, obviously, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But I
Mhm.
like that idea. Like, say, for instance, you set up an installation or set up a base. Maybe you set it to have a certain amount of troops, or whatever the case. Say the world events, like, say, because say if there's some kind of events going on, like, say it randomly gets attacked by elites or whatever else that's on the
Mhm.
installation. Like, say you're off doing a mission, or you're something and you get some alert saying your base is being attacked, or just something like that. Like, I think that would be a really really cool idea. But I like that. I like that idea. I think they're going to be doing something like completely left field.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to stick to the traditional. I think that they know that they have to knock it out the park this time. Like, they don't really have a choice. They have to come out, be innovative, because we don't know when Halo's coming out. Some people are assuming next year. Some people are saying 2 years from now. We
Mhm.
don't know. But what we do know is that Halo has the green light. We
Oh
do
yeah.
know that based on Bonnie's tweets, a couple other developers' tweets. They have all the resources at their disposal for this next Halo. We understand that. So I'm looking for greatness from this next Halo, and I'm definitely feeling like we're gonna get that. I really, really feel like this is gonna happen. But I think they need some new, fresh ideas though. And that idea you brought up, I never heard that though. In that kind of game, I'm not sure how it will work, but that's a pretty dope ass idea. I think it would be cool.
Thank
So would that be like a you said, well, not necessarily offline, but would it be like a you build up the base, or you
you.
have this I don't know. I'm trying to like put it all together. There's just so much information. So like, how would that work though? Like, how do you think that would?
The way I look at it is installations and things like almost like your supply lines or different installations. So areas that you've already cleared, you set up the base, you prepare it a certain way, and then instead of having it where you always have to, retake over that area, every now and then it gets hit by, enemy forces. They come through, they may weaken the base, but you can jump into that battle like based on how you had it originally set. So if you have it where defense is, tip top shape, then there'll be an easy cakewalk that you can set up that any of your friends on your friends list can come through, help out. They can act as one of the Marines on that installation, and then help out from there. But for the most part, I think it would be kind of like can't really think of a game that has that exact setup now, but I know it like the Division 2, you're working on like the I guess camps or different bases that the civilians now run, and
Mhm.
based on how you build up the resources for that, they can either come in as like backup for you when you're out in the battle for like one of the story missions or one of the side missions,
Oh, I
or you
like
can
that.
use like some of the people that have been recruited to that installation for like crafting. Although I don't think you really need crafting or anything like that in Halo, but as far as whether it's an ammo depot type of thing where if they make like a hardcore mode and your ammo is limited based on your supply chain, that could be something that particular installation supplies, or something that can add that extra edge for that particular area in that game. But I'm thinking it's more so like a kind of like a side mission that will every now and then have enemy forces attack. You have to defend it, but you don't have to necessarily defend it right then and there. You can have it set aside as a mission you can come back to, or
Yeah,
people that are on your friends list can help defend it. And I guess they would have to make it so no one's going to sacrifice the base and purposely have it taken over, but make it so at least if they want to do like a side mission for honor points or something along those lines, when the enemy comes in, they have an alert that Fuzzy's installation's being attacked. You can join in that battle and help out,
yeah,
and they might be able to get some bonus skins or weapons or something along those lines by helping defend that. So
yeah,
it'd be kind of like more of like a side mission thing that you can come back for supplies, but on the actual mission aspect of it, it's something you can hop in as like a mini battle that doesn't necessarily take away from the story, but can be more of like an XP boost or just
yeah,
experience
yeah,
for as far as different weaponry and things like that in the
yeah.
game.
I like that. I like it's like a meta. It's like a mini game, a game inside
Yeah,
of a game almost. You know what I'm saying? Like something you can do, like you said, for XP, or if there's even XP or some kind of I don't know. But I like that idea though, and it adds to the replayability of a campaign.
yeah,
Multiplayer is going to be there. We understand that. You're going to have Forge. You're going to have multiplayer. There's probably going to be new game modes we're not aware of at this point. But I like that idea. I think, and shout out to if Bonnie Ross is listening, if she ever sees this podcast. You guys tweet her this podcast as well. Please steal that idea
yeah,
if you have not already. But I think that would be really, really cool. That's a really good idea for us. I like that, man. You should definitely keep that on ice for sure. So that was a
yeah.
first warm up topic, guys. And if you're filing in a show right now, me and Fuzzy are running a pick and roll today, 2-man show today. No problem, guys. We're going to keep this thing moving, but a great warm up topic. Appreciate you guys. Make sure all you guys hit that like button. It does help the channel grow, helps the channel be seen as well. I appreciate everybody here watching live. Thank you guys so much. And let's go ahead and continue on to the next topic. So this is a big one for us. This is a big one. We're not going to dive in too much because I don't want to
Right.
raise my blood pressure on this, okay? But but we're definitely going to talk about it, okay? The rumor about the discless Xbox One S or the Xbox One SAD, whatever. We don't even know if that's what's going on. But the rumor about that, apparently there's some leaks or some information that this console is going to be made. I don't know specifically when it's coming out, but sometime in the near future, there's going to be a Discless Xbox One X, some kind of a different SKU. Now,
Right.
one thing I do want to set up preface is saying it is a option. Okay, let's start there. It's just an
Right.
option at this point. It's not even confirmed as far as I know at this point, but it's definitely an option if it does happen. So I wanted to get your opinion on it, Fuzzy. So
Yeah.
what do you think about the option? What do you think about that news, man?
From an option standpoint, I think it's good news. Now, there's so many aspects of this that I still have questions about, and I want to make sure this isn't a like experiment, but because it kind of feels like that. And I know there's a few things that Brad Sams and a few others have said as far as, well, okay, this is a way for Xbox to put out a discless console, see how well it's received, and then moving into the next generation, that might also be an option, or it might be the base platform one. So the base Lockhart might be discless. I don't think that's the case just yet. But if this is well received, comes in at the 150 price point or maybe even less, hopefully not too much more. But if it's really well received, then that might give them a nudge to want to do more of a discless as like your entry level, just to get the price point, get customers in the door, and then they're hopefully locked into the ecosystem with the digital setup. But in the grand scheme of things, my only concern, if I was in the market specifically for this right now, depending on what the program is as far as the disk exchange for like physical disk to digital
Yeah.
copy, I still have probably about 20 games that I have on disk that I haven't bought the equivalent digital copy, and they're either not on Game Pass or we haven't gotten them as a games as for gold type of thing.
Yeah,
But
same
if
here.
if they have it where, okay, I can take those 20 games that I have, go to GameStop, pick up this digital copy, and then have it attached to my account. And then now my Xbox One X is sitting in the house now can have those same games as digital. I'll be happy. I mean,
Yeah.
that will be a definite pickup for me at that point. But on the concern side, as far as the future of that box, I mean, it is late in the gen for this.
Yeah.
It is an S as opposed to an X, so I don't know how much longer of a lifespan it has. But I do remember a lot of early rumors as far as like the Scarlet generation, where there's going to be the xCloud tie-in and streaming, and there's a little bit of hardware in there that will help with the streaming aspect. I'm hoping whatever that hardware
Yeah.
is currently either in the current gen S's that are out there, or at least this discless one. So that way it has more than just a 2-year lifespan. I mean, it's
Yeah.
great that you can play your back compat stuff and all original Xbox One games, but we're like 2 steps away from like next gen. It'd be kind of
Yeah.
sad to have somebody spend 150. Well, I mean, it is only I say only 150. 150 to some people's a lot, but
That's a
it,
lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
but
Yeah.
but it being 150, it's not as bad if it only has a 2-year lifespan. But I would hate for a lot of people, their first entry into the Xbox family, they spend this 150 and then they're kind of left out in the cold afterwards with
Yeah.
whatever is left over from the previous gen.
Yeah.
It may leave a bad taste in their mouth to the point where they may not want to upgrade unless there's some sort of trade that in, get the Xbox One Lockhart discless version for like $50 more or something.
Yeah.
But there's so much to it. I mean,
Oh
the
yeah.
other thing that would make it worthwhile is if it's around the 150 mark, hopefully no more than 199, because you can already get a regular S at that.
Yeah, for 199. Yeah.
They better have some heck of a like 1-year full bundle instead of this 2-week business or 3-month business for the Game Pass. Just put a whole full year. I mean, yeah, it's kind of giving away the store at that point. But if you want to lock people in, get their foot in the door, have them where they're going to be a recurring subscriber, go ahead and sell that thing at 150. Put the Xbox Game Pass as a 1-year subscription included with that 150 price point, or at max 199. And I think it'll be a win-win for at least for Microsoft, and then we'll have that many more people out there playing on multiplayer games or just games that we can play co-op. Hopefully they get this, I guess, gold and Game Pass thing kind of merged at some point, but we'll see how that works. But in the grand scheme, it's not for me right now, but options are good, and hey, more power to them to get more people in the door.
Yeah. So you know what? The one thing we want to take a step back from this, everybody. There's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. There's a lot of things that are going to happen that we don't like. So there's a lot of moving parts, and that's the one thing I'm getting from all of this. Now we know discless and streaming, those the cloud gaming, things like that. That's the future. We don't know how far off the future that is, but we know things are kind of going that direction. So when I heard about the rumor, I wasn't 100% surprised. But like you said, there's some things that need to happen because this is, like you said, it's really late in the generation for this even to be a thought for them. Especially with, like you said, we're literally a hop, skip, and a jump away from PS5, the next Nintendo, as well as the next Xbox. So you don't want to put something out there to look like it's just you're trying to get. I don't. It's you don't want it to look bad. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the aim is, you don't want it to just look like we're just putting this out there just to put it out. You don't want it to be a 32X. If you're not old enough, that's a Sega system. If you don't remember, but you don't want it to look like a 32X situation. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just kind of an add-on. This is something cool. Now, like you said, for me at this current point, it's not something that I'm going to spend even $150 on because I don't feel like I need it. I have two Xbox One S's and an OG Xbox One in the house. I don't really need anything else at this point. It's nice to have a smaller box, maybe at a cheaper price. Maybe for like if you have a den or something and you don't really like dragging a console downstairs, that's perfect for that. But it's a lot of things that have to happen for this to work properly. The price point is the big one. You got to get that right because, like you said, you can already get an S for $199. So you can't go any higher than that. I think $199 is the most that they could charge for this thing. And another thing is that what kind of hardware is it going to have? I assume it's going to have at least be able to run like an Xbox One S. It has to be at least like an Xbox One S. So if we're getting that kind of performance at $150, maybe $170 is a weird price, but usually $150. I think it'll do okay. Were people going to run out and buy it right away? I can't say that. I know for as a Twitter crowd, we're more of in the know. A lot of us are more hardcore. A lot of us probably won't, but you never know. A mom or dad walking to, Walmart, they may pick it up because $150 and you can play all of this, especially with something like Game Pass. You can play 250 plus games, $150, and I don't have to buy a disc. That may be a good pickup for somebody like that, for more casual fans. So it can work really well. Now, I don't know. We still don't know the details on when it's going to happen, if it's actually going to happen. But I'm really, really excited for it to see what's going on. Maybe we get an announcement at E3. Who knows? You definitely know. So I know Shonsu said, I don't know if you were talking about this. Correct me in the chat, Shonsu. You said pre-order in April, release in May, I believe. Were you talking about the Discless Xbox One? Just kind of hit me up in the chat. Let me know if that's what you were referring to because I hadn't heard that or anything. And shout out to Victor Allison. He said, did you see Google controller leak? Anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later if we have a little bit of time at the end of the show. Shout out to you, Victor. But yeah, so I think that this is something that Xbox has to get right. They have to get it right. They can't put it out and it just be some vague, what is this kind of thing, because the issue is not the issue's never been the products they put out. It's always been the marketing behind the products. That's been where they've been dropping the ball throughout the generation. If they screw that up with the Discus one, they might as well just move on to the next Xbox. You might as well just act like it didn't even come out. You know what I'm saying? So you can't drop the ball there because that's all the momentum you built up since last year. Last E3, you got to continue that. These new consoles are around the corner, and you need a big showing. You need to keep the positive momentum going. And I think something like that is not going to hurt them, but more mixed messaging is not going to help. At the end of the day, that's what hurt the Xbox in 2013. Part of what hurt the Xbox, and part of what's continuing to hurt the brand over time with games and hardware. So they gotta do it right. They gotta do it right. So great topic, man. I definitely want to get too crazy on that one because I know it's been crazy back and forth on Twitter, but I wanted to make sure we got that out the way for sure, man. So all right, we'll see what happens. And once again, everybody in the chat, thank you guys for showing up as well. Make sure you hit that like button. Helps the video be seen. So we're gonna move on to a fun topic, man. I did a video about this about 2 days ago. I think it was Thursday I did a video. So go back, check the archives, check the video out, man. It's pretty awesome. But E3 2019, man, way too early expectations. What to expect as far as E3 2019, man. We do this every year. It's so fun, though. I can't help myself. I find myself like not wanting to do this kind of video, but I'm like, I can't help it. I'm a gamer. I'm impatient. I want to talk about this thing. You know what I'm saying? So, man, what do you got anything way too early? What to expect, man? What are your expectations for E3 2019, especially knowing now that EA's not going to be there. They're not doing a press conference. They're not going to have a stage presence or anything there. They're going to kind
Yeah.
of be doing the live streaming thing. Obviously, Sony's not there. What's going on? How do you feel?
I'm thinking whatever EA is going to release later on this year is going to probably be on Microsoft stage. Like they usually have like the marketing rights anyway. So I guess in all honesty, two things for EA. One, it gets past the cringe that they've had on the past few
That's
of
true. Good point.
their conferences. It's like it seems like they don't. I mean, it's well prepared, but either the personalities or just it just comes across kind of weird half the time when they do them. So I think it's best to just leave it up to Xbox to have it on their stage. And I'm wondering what we're going to have. I'm hoping, or I remember hearing something about like a Star Wars game that's going to be coming out later this year. It's not a Battlefront. It's, I guess, a single player one, but or I don't know if that was the one that was canceled or whatnot, because that's another thing. But we'll find out something that's coming out this October, November from EA, and of course they'll have Madden 20 and all their sports lineup for 2020. But it's probably for the best to get EA to kind of take or sit this one out, especially considering they're going to have to work with BioWare. That's a topic for later, but they're going to have to work on some stuff that they have already existing out there. Like we haven't even gotten to the Ring of Fire yet with Battlefield 5.
It's what, March now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game, unfortunately, it's almost like a 101 of what not to do when launching a game, I guess, from every standpoint. But as far as things to look forward to, Cyberpunk's going to be there. I'm happy to hear that. I'm hoping that they're closer to completion, but my guess is we're probably at least still a year away at the earliest. But to at least see how far they've come along from the original showing, which there were some things that were could use some polish, but I would say in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be the game that a lot of people sink so much time into. So to see how far they've come in a year's time would be a nice adage. But Sony not being there, my gut's still telling me, and I know a few people have gone back and forth on which game is going to be coming out later this year, whether it's The Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm under the impression Ghost of Tsushima has already had that leak. So even though they're not going to be there, you better believe there's going to be some sort of marketing thing to kind of spoil Microsoft's shine that weekend or that week. But I expect to at least see an announcement, even if it's just on YouTube, something just during that time frame. Aside from that, Ubisoft, I mean, they're already launching a ton of games. I'd like to see how far along Beyond Good and Evil's come along.
Oh man, love it.
I think they have. Don't they have another? Well, they already did that space game thing that was not like Star Fox, but I forget.
Starlink.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they're going to have something else to wow us with. Under the impression they're taking a break on Assassin's Creed. So we won't see that, but they'll definitely be something.
Which I appreciate. I don't mind that.
Well, they have to do that. Was it Skull and Bones, the pirate ship battle thing? So hopefully that gets some airtime and we get more of like a release date on that. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, this year's been great as far as game releases
already.
And to have whatever we have at E3 this year is going to be awesome. And then hardware, it's like
that, we ain't even got to that yet.
Well, Microsoft is going to have to tell us not tell us why we need to buy it, because we already know why we want to buy it, but they're going to have to show us what they're packing as far as for the Anaconda, make sure that thing is everything that we expected from the X and got. They got to take it to that same level for this next generation, and hoping the price is still reasonable. Hopefully they don't go all like, oh, it's a mini PC at an affordable price. Hopefully they keep it at, it's a console that can kind of do PC stuff for $500.
Yeah.
But I can't wait. It's like, that's going to be my equivalent of Christmas Eve for me for the most part.
Oh, yeah. And you know what the best thing is? This is such a unique year. There's things happening this year during this that never happened at E3 before. This is such a unique year. So many good games have already come out. So many good games on the way. So many questions. I think this is probably the E3. Well, the E3 is going to have the most questions leading up to it. Since the generation has started. There's been some good shows. Last year was amazing, but I think this one is going to be really like we don't know what the fuck is going on. Like we have no idea what's going on. We don't even have a like a concept of what's going on because there's so many questions. And I think leading up to that, there's going to be more. Just going to whatever information because we tend to right around May start to get all these leaks and all these lists and all this random stuff and rumors start to come out, which I'm going to avoid like the plague, hopefully. But we tend to get these leaks that come out. So this year is very, very different, Fuzzy. And I think that's the biggest thing. Sony not being there, Xbox potentially having a gigantic show, really because they have to. And Xbox is kind of in a weird position. It's not a bad position, but it's an awkward position. Because do you blow your load and say, this is what the Anaconda is, this is coming out this year? Do you hold back? We don't know if Xbox is doing a show in November like they did last year or December. Was that December? That when they did the Xbox show in Mexico. Is that December last year? So we don't know if Xbox is doing anything like that again this year. I mean, I think it's going to be an annual thing. They kind of made it out like they're bringing it back and it's going to be something that they're going to continue doing. But do they release all of these information? Do they hold back? It's all kind of crazy stuff. And then Sony not being there at all, we don't know what they're doing. Nintendo, EA, all these different things, man. It's really, really amazing, guys. Go check my video out. I went over a lot of different things individually in the video. But second part to this question, okay? Mm-hmm. So what do you think Xbox what do you think they have to do this E3 to maintain the momentum they built up for the past E3? What do you think is something that they have to do?
Start off with as many games as they can, as far as whether it's the indies and third-party deals. Mix in the studios that they've acquired in the meantime or since their last announcement at XO, and show at least some hint of maybe one or two titles in the works from their recently acquired studios. And then definitely they got to show some more Gears 5. I mean, that's coming out this holiday or at least this fall. So they definitely got to show that. But I think showing all of those and then either ending it with the hardware and then maybe a tech demo of maybe an unannounced game by another one of the studios they recently acquired on that new hardware. I think ending it with that and saying, coming in 2020 or something to that effect, I think that will just blow everybody's mind.
Does that put them at a disadvantage with Sony because they don't know what Sony is doing? They have no idea. None of us know what Sony is doing at all. We don't know if they're going to have a PSX. We don't know. Does that put them at a disadvantage because the adage is Sony has always been able to take advantage of Xbox, especially Microsoft, and when Xbox kind of goes first and or releases information, they've always been able to capitalize on that. So do they do that again and hope that Sony just comes out, because we don't know. Because think about it this way as well. Sony not having a show, all that does, if you're a Sony fan, is build up more hype when they do have a show.
True.
And Sony, let's be honest, they have the mind share of this generation. They have the mind share. They're the better selling console. Things like that. They have higher rated games as far as single player exclusives. So they have a lot going in their direction. And I don't think this is going to affect Sony as much as some people think it will. I think this is only going to, the closer we get to E3 and post E3, the excitement for whatever Sony is doing. Sony has an opportunity to literally right after E3 said, we're put up a dry erase board saying PSX 2019, see you soon. And put it on Twitter, and the whole internet's gonna explode. Boom! Oh my God, Sony doing it. They don't have to take a picture, make a nice Photoshop pic. No, none of that. A dry erase board with PSX 2019. See you soon. It's a wrap. So it's kind of a weird. You gotta think about it that way too, Fuzz.
Yeah, it's tough. I think the big thing now is going to be just, as far as the glimpse from what they had at the China show, because I guess there was like some sort of showing as far as Sony games and things like that, like a Chinese developer, like almost like their equivalent, I guess, of E3. they have a handful of nice looking games that are, or I guess, going to be in the pipeline. I don't know if we're going to see them in the American market, if it's just for the Chinese market or not. But if some of those games do make it to, I guess, the States or Europe and things like that, as far as when they go and release more, or like the tail end of the PS4 leading into PS5, I think that gives Xbox at least some insight on what to expect as far as what games they may want to like match up against. Like if they're going to have, what was the one I can't remember any of the names of the titles, but one of them almost looked like Near Automata, but more less cartoonish, more like if Near Automata met like Horizon Zero Dawn kind of thing, and it looks like it might be a multiplayer setup. So I'm pretty sure, Sony's going to definitely try to spoil Microsoft's show at the end. I think it's going to be like a Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima release date type of announcement, and that'll be enough to kind of hold them over until like a PSX or something like that. But as far as the hardware details, I think, and we've kind of saw this with even with the X1X.
Yeah.
They wound up, I think, putting more memory or allocating more memory to gaming than they originally had listed. So I think Microsoft still has the flexibility of saying, oh, yeah, this is going to be, let's say, for example's sake, it's 10 teraflops. I know we've heard a larger number as far as what the Anaconda will possibly be, but let's just say they announce at the E3 conference, it's going to be 10 teraflops. PS5 comes back, or the PlayStation comes back with like some sort of announcement, or PSX. Oh, the PS5 is going to be 10 teraflops. Then I have a feeling then they'll make Phil release the like Plan B. That's like just kill them with power hardware or something like that, and be like, well, we said 10, but it was really 16, and it's like, we're going with this plan. The Lockhart will be 10, but something along those lines. But it's definitely going to be a cat and mouse game. Between them. But man, it's
crazy.
Sony always they're good at not only at marketing, but they're good at strategy. As far as I think their only misstep I can think of as far as from a marketing standpoint was like, oh, it's $600 for the PS3. Well, you can get another job. But I mean, Xbox has said similar things as far as like, well, we have an Xbox for you. It's called a 360. But it's they're going to sit back, watch, and then they're going to have like a Yoshida moment, like this is how you share a game type of thing, and spoil some things for Xbox fans. But the PlayStation loyal will definitely be celebrating and looking forward to whatever news or show they have this year. But it's going to be fun, and
I mean, it's a great strategy. Starve your fan base for about 16 to 18 months. No shots at Sony or anybody that's a Sony fan here. I love everybody. We're all gamers at the end of the day. But if you can, and Sony's kind of built up the momentum to be able to sustain. That's why I said, and I've said it in videos that I've done and on other podcasts, that I don't think that this lack of this long period of no show, really nothing going on from Sony, is going to affect them at all. I don't really think that there are some people who think, oh, this is terrible, da da da. I don't think it's going to bother Sony at all. I don't really think. I think it's just going to create more momentum when they do drop some information, and they're going to do a trickle here, a trickle there, trickle here, trickle there, and boom, something's going to come out. But it's going to be like you said, their timing is usually amazing. They usually have perfect timing as far as dropping information or a trailer or something like that. So we got to be wary of that. But I think overall, E3 2019, we are in for a treat. If you're a gamer, I don't care what the fuck you play on, we're in for a treat. I'm an Xbox guy. I know we're in for a treat because right after Sony announced that they weren't going to be there, he picked up his damn phone and said, "Somebody get my phone because I need to let everybody know we're coming, and we're coming with a lot of shit. So I need to make sure we literally remember that." It was about 10 minutes later, Phil tweeted, "Oh, we're coming. We're there. We're going to be at 20. By the way, we're going to be there for sure." So I think he's very confident. The team is very confident. And honestly, I don't think he's worried about Sony at all. I don't really think he's worried about that at all. They have a game plan. The ball's rolling. He's at the big boy table. Sati is in. Everybody else is in. It's time to go. We don't have time to worry about what everybody else is doing. We got Google coming up. We got Apple.
Yeah.
We got all these other things coming into play. We don't have time. So I think we're in for a real super huge treat. We're gonna see a ton of games. I'm hoping everybody has a decent show. I really do hope everybody has a quality show. So, and if you think for 1 second, don't be that guy that tries to downplay E3 as an event. Don't be that guy. Please don't. Go look at the numbers if you want factual evidence. E3 by far as a gaming event blows everything else out the water based on attendance outside of Gamescom, and as far as like viewership. It's easily look at the PSX numbers, look at the inside Xbox numbers, then go look at them E3 stream numbers. It's not even close. You're talking about 200,000-300,000 people live per stream on E3 per conference. Like that doesn't have PSX don't have that many people watching, nor does Inside Xbox concurrently. So it's not. It's like the Super Bowl of video games. So I just think that to fall back when it comes to trying to downplay the event because that's so false. It's not even funny. Don't try and downplay the event just because your company's not going to be there or you think that it's overrated or whatever the case may be. I had to get that off my chest. Sorry, y'all. That was a little bit of a rant, but I had to get it off my chest. But either way, the event's going to be amazing, guys. I'm going to have fun. This year, I'd hoped I'd actually be able to attend, man. If something happens in the next month, my ass will be there for sure. You'll be getting some live information from me for sure. Me and my wife been talking about that, so cross my fingers over here. Maybe I'll make the trip out there and we'll see what's going on in person. But either way, I'm super excited for it. Fuzzy's excited for it. Shout out to Zark. I'm sure he is, and I know my man Jarhead is excited for it as well, man. So hit that like button, guys. Once again on the show, me and Fuzz running a pick and roll tonight. You guys are amazing in the chat. Let's keep it going here, man. So this is something I want to talk about too. This show may fuck around and go for a whole hour. I didn't even plan it, but it may actually go for the whole 60 minutes. This is something I know you've talked about, Fuzzy. I know it's kind of something you've definitely brought up from time to time as well. Shout out to Zarker, he has as well. And I have too, but we haven't really addressed it. I haven't really seen anybody dive really into it. And this is something that's kind of plagued this generation for whatever reason. Since we've gone more digital, there's been more issues. So I'm talking about broken game releases. Now, we had the Crackdown. Recently, we had the Crackdown. Obviously, Anthem is big, with the games coming out. What's up with this? Do you think this is something that we're going to see care? Because think about this. When we were kids, when we got that cartridge worked. There was no day one patch. There was no day. As technology advances and video games advances, there's more and more opportunities for games to be fucked up or be broken. Right. So do you think that that's going to be something that you continues on to the next generation with the added power, added, hardware, things like that, streaming, things like that, are trying to essentially, creep their way into gaming? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about broken games in general? Then do you think that that's going to continue?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to continue until we all speak up with our wallets and just either like do mass refunds or returns on games, whether it be digital or physical copies that are broken, which I know some of the return policies are kind of against that, but it's definitely going to take the consumer speaking up, because they already know it's a leeway thing where, okay, we were under these time constraints. We have it 90% complete. We'll go ahead and push it out. It's already been listed as gold. If the hardware manufacturers didn't fully test it to make sure it doesn't overheat their consoles, that's on them. Let's just release it. And then anything else that comes up, we'll fix it as we go. And in many cases, I'm pretty sure they already have like a checklist of like probably 20 or 30 things that they couldn't get done prior to the release. So it's like, we'll just push that back because it's been accepted. It's not like, they sell 6 million copies and 5 million people return it because it's broken beyond all get out. I mean, and they know it's like, oh, well, we'll make it up to the consumer. We'll give a day one patch, and if it's really, really broken, we'll give you like a bonus skin or a bonus mission that we would have charged for DLC or something like that. And us as gamers, we've kind of ate it up and moved on. And it's like, But I think it was, as far as if we as gamers unite, and that includes the casuals that may not look on Twitter or may not look on YouTube or any social media to see how many other people are experiencing the same trouble. I think at that point, that's when the developers are going to be like, oh, wait, we sold these many copies and almost all of them came back. Yeah, they're going to start scrambling at that point. Like I think the
Yeah,
closest game that kind of experienced that, at least to my knowledge, was No Man's Sky, which they definitely fixed later on, but it
yeah.
was ugly for like the first few months, and
Oh yeah, it
then
was
there
terrible.
was just so many people that couldn't do returns, and then they found other ways of doing returns by chargebacks and
It
whatnot.
was
And
so bad they went into hiding.
yeah,
They literally stopped. They completely stopped doing social media. They just went completely off the grid. The entire
yeah,
in studio.
no, but it's I foresee it being an ongoing thing from here until who knows when. But like I said, until we push back to the point where it's like, okay, I played this for 2 hours. Out of those 2 hours, only 5 minutes of it was actual gameplay because it's broken. Microsoft, give me my money back, or PlayStation, give me my money back. I mean, or I'll do it. Well, then I guess the on the flip side of things, then the hardware companies kind of protect themselves because if you do a chargeback, then they'll be like, well, we'll just close your account. So it's like
Yeah.
we're kind of, dare I say, held by the balls for the most part, but it's
Well, it's a fine line, and shout out to Shonsu. And I want to make sure I reiterate what he just said in the tweet. Shout out to my mod Shonsu. Appreciate you, bro. Always in here every Saturday, man. So he said games are bigger and bigger, and online multiplayer adds a lot of complex problems to the equation. It might be too much to wish for a bug-free game. So, what is your opinion on that, Fuzz? You think that's a fair point
oh
because
yeah,
you're right. We do ask a lot of these developers when we ask. I mean, we were just talking about Halo. The
yeah,
shit we talk about requires a lot of work. So it's
yeah,
just I think that there's a fine line there. And once again, these companies don't even always have their employees' best interest in mind. We've seen
true,
a lot of these companies flip on their employees. We heard the reports about Red Dead and working 100-hour weeks, whether it's constituted, whether it's true or not, where there's
Mhm.
smoke, there's fire. There's a ton of other studios as well that have had management issues because of things like this, because of hours, because of wages. We do ask a lot of these developers, so it's definitely a balance. But how do you feel about what Shonsu said?
No, he's accurate. It's true. The games that we were talking about when they were on cartridge, it was just a side scroller that might have,
Yeah,
at most 99 levels, but they were, only really 5 levels, just in different colors, type of
yeah,
thing. And now, like you said, multiplayer adds a whole new layer of complexity because you have the connection aspect, the server aspect, the consistent or persistent worlds that we're in, and to make sure that everybody is in sync. The games themselves being open world, where it's like it could take you 20 minutes to get from one end of the map to the other. So it's like the size of the games and the amount of code involved is exponentially larger. It would be nice to have a game work right from day one without having to have a day one patch. It is a lot to ask of the developers, but I don't know. It sometimes it seems like the developers could have delayed the game or pushed back the release to kind of fix a few things. Like even though Red Dead has had some bugs, they did push back the original launch. The same thing with Grand Theft Auto 5. They did push back the original launch. When the game came out, it was, I would say, one of the least broken games, as far as, yeah, there were some exploits and things like that, but it wasn't like you couldn't complete or at least make it a decent way through the story. Um, but when it comes to some other games out there, it's like, especially one that's geared to be a multiplayer game. And I always go back to one of my favorite games, but it's also like a love hate relationship with like Drive Club.
yeah,
They
yeah,
they postponed that game a year, and the whole premise behind it was meant to be a multiplayer online racing game. And in that year's time that they delayed it, it's almost like they didn't test the online. It didn't work even after the year delay for like a couple of months. So it was just almost like in cases like that, I feel like if you're not a multiplayer game and you're not an open world game, but there are still some glitches or bugs to it, type of thing,
yeah.
even after a delay, then it's like, come on, what are you guys doing? It's almost like, yeah, we're gonna give you crap for postponing another 6 months or so, but I don't know. I guess they rather have people have the game in hand, take the risk to see if they do return it, as opposed to play it, wait for a patch, and then go back to playing it in the meantime, type of thing. But it is a lot to ask. games are way more involved than they've been in decades, but it it it's one of those like things that we still are going to request, and it's a big ask, but
Yeah,
it shouldn't just be a dream. It should be something that at least some of your bigger studios should hopefully have like the
yeah,
QC nailed down a little, at least a
yeah,
little bit better.
yeah. And you know what? So one thing. So there's a like Shonsu said, there's a fine line because we demand on both sides. We expect these games to come out perfect, but then we
Hmm.
don't want to wait for them.
Yeah.
So it's I mean we're gamers. We want our cake and eat it too. I'm sorry. That's just how we are. So it's really how we're built essentially. But I think that I don't know if there ever come to a point to where we get back to Nintendo games, where there's just it comes out, it works, there's no issues with it. And I think that's it's a funny thing. You know how I have a love hate with Nintendo, but that's one thing that they're excellent at. Their games come out, they're almost never broken.
Yeah.
They almost never need a patch. But Nintendo has nowhere near the infrastructure that built into the games that they're generally just single player. Every time, every now and then you have some multiplayer like Smash Bros. But those
Hmm.
games aren't graphically intensive. There's not like a ton of shit going on. There's some general matchmaking, and that's about it. And
Yeah.
then you have the base game. So it's not anything too crazy, but I think that over time, technology is going to get more complex. We're going to ask more of games who want bigger, better, more shit, in games, more things to do. I think that just comes with the territory. That I think every developer, you could probably poll every single developer in the industry and say, hey, like what don't you want your game to come out perfect? Then all of them say yes, absolutely yes. But it's not necessarily realistic, because of the things we ask for. They're always pushing the boundaries because they know as gamers that's what we want. We want them to push the boundaries. We want new things. We want new ideas. We want more complex things as well. So as these generations go by, I don't know if we'll ever get to the standpoint to where games are consistently coming out and you don't need a day one patch because look at the game you're waiting for, Division Two. A massive day one patch is coming out.
Yeah.
Massive for fixes, for adjustments, and the game ain't even out yet. But we knew about the but they're already said we okay guys, before as soon as you boot this thing up, you need about 20 gigs of space because there's gonna be a huge update coming out to fix all of this shit before you even go in the game. You can't even, change the skin color of your character before you gotta download the update. Like it's literally like it's just crazy how that's kind of been a thing this generation, and I don't know if that'll ever not continue. Just because the way video games are, we ask for more, we demand more as gamers, so it's just gonna make games more complex and that much more harder to dev for. So I agree. Shout out to the chat, man. You guys got a lot of cool shit to say. Let me just give you guys a couple shout outs here. Shout out to Betterman77, XLLX. He just popped in here. Zinc, shout out to you, brother. Always in here. Shown to once again. Let me go up the list a little bit, guys. Sorry, my screen's not quite there. Victor, everybody here, everybody watching live, even if you're not in chat, appreciate you guys so much, man. But yeah, I think that's a funky subject, and we don't talk about that enough, Fuzz. I know we haven't really tackled that on the podcast.
Yeah. No, it's
So,
it's it's just one of those things. Perfect games. I guess it's mainly because we're used to the consoles that we've had in the past, where everything being on a cartridge, it was like once it shipped, that was it. There was no way to really update that or patch it. So I guess it is a unique time, or it was a unique time in comparison to now. But yeah, we're never going to stop asking for bigger and better games.
yeah, that's not
So
gonna happen.
I guess
Yeah.
we have to kind of curtail some of our asks on how much of a day one patch, or how much it's going to expect it to work. Like, can we at least make it through level one without it restarting the console or something like that? That would be like, checklist one. That's what we want. But everything else, okay, we can kind of work with you on.
I am
But
I am not. I don't want you guys. Sorry to cut you off, but I don't want you guys to misconstrue what I'm saying. I will not condoning games breaking your fucking console. I'm
no,
not condoning that because a game should never be that broken to where it bricks your console ever. I don't care
yeah,
what system it's on, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. That should never happen. Now, obviously, we don't know. The behind the scenes. Maybe if they knew about the problem before, the potential of the problem, what it could
mhm,
do to the hardware. If they don't, we'll probably never know that answer unless you like in there, you work for them. But a game should never, ever, ever come out that fucking broken. because I mean, I'm not a developer, but I would think that you could foresee if like you have some general idea about a bug, like this shit could potentially be really bad.
Mhm.
Like I would think that would be something that you'd have on a checklist. Like this is a bad bug. This is not so bad. You haven't separated. Maybe I don't know how they do it, but
Yeah.
a game should never be that bad ever. I don't ever condone that on any system. If a game came out right now and broke my Xbox, I'd be pissed off. So I don't
Mhm.
know everybody's getting it that day. But we
Yeah.
can go ahead and open this thing up to questions. That was an awesome topic, guys. Looks like our show is going to go an hour. Didn't even plan for it. Thought it would be a lot shorter, but you guys are so fucking amazing. You guys come in, show up every Saturday. We appreciate you guys so much. So shout out to XLLX. He has a question here. And once again, guys, you put your questions down in the chat. We're gonna take like two, then we're going to wrap the show up here because me and Fuzzy got some goddamn anthem to play. All right, I gotta catch it to my daughter, man. She done passed me up. She's 14. It's ridiculous, man. In a half a day, it took me 2 days to get to level 11. She passed me up in 8 hours. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But we're gonna go ahead and open it up. We're gonna go ahead and get his question. He said for the next Xbox that we will be getting in the next 2 years or 3, what do you want to see improved to make it better? So what do you want to see, Fuzz?
I want to see better integration as far as either posting pics or video, like better integration to either upload it to YouTube or some sort of video storage or picture storage. Like it's not that it's bad now, but I think there's some sort of infighting between Microsoft and Google anyway, between getting videos uploaded from your Xbox directly to YouTube. Like it used to work before, and then YouTube
Sony didn't have
updated.
that problem.
Yeah,
Sony's you can stream straight to YouTube, which I'm salty about that we never got. I mean, we got Mixer. I appreciate that, but
yeah.
it'd be nice to be able to stream directly to YouTube. Just saying. But either way, go ahead and finish.
Exactly. It just seems like I don't know if it's on Microsoft's end or Google's end. I'm gonna blame Google at this point because it seemed like they finally updated the YouTube app so you can do 4K, and then by the way, you have a console that can do 4K. Yeah, we're not taking those clips or something. It just seems weird. And then we finally now have it where you can send pics directly from your Xbox to Twitter.
Yep.
It took way too long for that. That's something that should be like from day one. If you want to post it to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever, you should be able to.
Yeah, you should really have almost the same options as your phone as far as sharing, pictures and things like. Maybe not video so much, but definitely at least pictures.
Exactly. I mean, that's probably a small thing to say that I'd like to see as far as an improvement, but that's just one of those things that just I wish they would have gotten right from start on this generation. So they definitely need that out from the start of the next one. But graphics would be another thing. Like if the Lockhart is as good as what the X1X is now, I'll be extremely happy. Although I'm probably still going to go with the Anaconda, but that would be another thing. I'm just enjoying the visuals as far as I don't want to build a PC, although I'm gonna wind up building a PC, but from a budget standpoint, it's like, hey, a $500 console, almost as good as some of the PCs that are a little bit pricier than that. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah,
But,
for sure, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, those are probably the biggest things. But the social media, it's a minimal ask, but it definitely needs to happen.
Okay, I haven't really thought about this. I've not really thought about this. Now, Betterman, shout out to you, Betterman77. He said a decent editing studio would be nice. I think so as well, because I think there's no fucking reason why we can't. Well, maybe we can. I think there's no reason why we don't have some of the editing features that I think we should have. I think they've kind of gone in and reworked Upload Studio a few different times. There's a few different versions from when it first came out, but I still don't think it's comprehensive enough. It's not. We'll never get to Sony Vegas or Adobe Photoshop level. We don't need that. We have specific programs for that in PCs. But I think a nice editing system, something uniform, like you said, being able to share your videos elsewhere, longer videos from the get-go, not just 5-minute clips, because nobody. I mean, we're in the age of YouTube. Who wants to just upload a 5-minute clip? We need 10, 15, 20 minutes, So I think that's something that naturally is going to get, with the hardware being upgraded, more space, things like that, better RAM, better CPUs, all that kind of stuff. I think that's naturally going to happen. And I think we'll be able to do better clips and longer clips in 4K, all that cool shit, fairly soon. So I can't really think of anything that I'm like, man, would definitely be something that they should definitely improve on. I mean, you guys had a lot of great ideas in the chat I'm looking at as well. Fuzzy, you pretty much hit the nail on the head as well. That would be, like you said, publishing videos to other like YouTube. I don't even know. Like, come on now. Like, I think that was more like you said. I think that was a Google thing because Google and Microsoft are direct competitors.
Yeah.
Sony and Google are not competitors at all. They have, so who cares if Sony if Google Sony? I mean, Google doesn't mind if Sony puts their or you being able to stream directly to YouTube. They're not competing with them. They're competing with Microsoft. On a lot of different levels. You know what I'm saying? A lot of different areas. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So we're gonna go ahead and grab another question or two. You guys been throwing your questions. Appreciate that. Let's see. Zink said, "How was Anthem?" That's a pretty easy question. The game is amazing. I think it's great. With the patches coming out, I think it's going to be even better. I think a lot of people are going to come back to the game. I've been enjoying it. My family's been enjoying it as well. So I know it's gotten a bad rap. It deserved a bad rap. Some of the shit was deserved because once again, you should never break a console. Some of the content issues there's that as well. But I think they have a good. What would you say? What's the word I'm looking for, Fuzzy? They have a good.
As far as like the loot runs or like the loop, like the grind loop.
Yeah, just the overall. They have a good, I guess, base. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they have something to work with, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? They have something there to work with. The one thing that makes Anthem different is the flying. There's no other game where you can do that. Yeah, I mean, as far as like with the having that Iron Man feel, there's no other game like that out right now. With the fluidity of the movement and the flying and how seamlessly it works in the middle of fights, just flying around the environments, that's very unique. That's something that Anthem only has. Am I correct on that one? Would you agree with that, Fuzz?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, that the fact, like me being an Interceptor fan, just fly in, drop down, slice things up, fly back out, or you can, fly, hover, shoot at the bigger bosses or bigger enemies, and do either the combo stuff or at least the primer, and then let somebody do the reaction stuff to get them to explode or freeze or explode or whatever. But yeah, that the flying mechanic is huge in that game. I mean, it's a big map. I haven't explored all the corners of it just yet.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
It's definitely it's definitely a good base, like you said. I'm curious to see what will look like a year from now. But in the meantime, I just want to hurry up and get to like level 30 and start getting some of these master pieces and things like that.
Oh yeah, the RNG is terrible, by the way, in Anthem. They have to fix that. I mean, there's people that are maxed out with max luck, and they're still not. They haven't seen a legendary drop. So they have to fix the RNG. That RNG will destroy a game like Anthem. Ask Destiny. Anyway, we're moving on. So one more question, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, guys. You guys have been amazing today, even with the kind of a skeleton crew here. There was another question. Did I miss? Did I miss something? Any idea we see the next?
I know Shansu asked about the DLC for Forza Horizon 4.
Okay, you could tackle that one.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's April. They haven't made any announcement. I know they just did the update for Season 7, and when you can finally get the Ford Capri Forza Edition, which is like the biggest unicorn in that game right now. I have a feeling that even though they said, "Oh, just complete the summer festival," it's probably going to be like a daily occurrence where you're going to have to at least get some daily points, and you'll be able to get that as a reward by the end of the month. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, because that's one of the few cars I don't have that's like under 10 mil. Like, I think other than like 5 or 6 $10 million cars, I pretty much have all the other cars except for that Ford Capri. So that's what I'm hoping for. But I'm guessing, as far as if I was to predict what the DLC is going to be, I've kind of said this from get-go, because of all of the things that are in the game now, there's probably going to be some sort of Hoonigan DLC, to the point where, just like Hot Wheels was like its own little world, basically imagine if you were making like a Gymkhana 25 and you were the set up the playground and the cameras and all that stuff. I have a feeling that something like that's coming. So we'll get like an upgrade to like video or the replay cameras. We'll get upgrades to some of the costume, well, not costumes, but like the outfits you can wear. We'll probably get upgrades to different vehicles that you can turn into basically a Hoonigan type car, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's not, like basically a Ken Block expansion pack
Yeah.
in short.
Okay, cool. So there you go, Shunsu. There you go. That's all the info you need. Anything about Forza, you know where to go. Follow Fuzzy on follow him on Twitter. All of that information is down in the link below. Also, all you need to know in regard to Forza. Hit up Fuzzy. He'll let you know what's going on for sure. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. It was an amazing show, guys. Once again, we're in a little skeleton crew, but shout out to Zalker, shout out to Jarhead as well. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys so much, man. Love you guys in the chat. You guys are amazing today. Appreciate you guys so fucking much. You guys don't understand it. I look forward to this every single week. I get my fix, man, for real, with the podcast. You guys are a big part of this. So, I love the interaction with you guys. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Helps the podcast grow. More people, more fun. The more shit we do, more topics, more games. So we love to have fun here. But we can go ahead and wrap this thing up. Fuzzy, I'm going to let you go ahead and give you a shout out, man. Let everybody know where they can find you, man.
And Fuzzy Belvedere, you can find me on Twitter or Xbox Live. Maybe on PlayStation next month when what do you call them? Days Gone comes out, and for the most part, I'm either going to be playing Forza or Devil May Cry, or like later on tonight, probably in about an hour or so, some Anthem. I gotta get past level 15.
We're doing that. We're definitely. I gotta pass my daughter. Fuck level 15. I gotta pass her because I will not live in this house and let her ridicule me that I'm not a higher level than she is. It's ridiculous. But either way, guys. Thanks, Fuzzy, as well. Take a little bit of time out, man. Guys, I want you to do this. Spam Fuzzy on Twitter to make a YouTube channel, okay? We need a Fuzzy Belvedere YouTube channel, man. The Fuzzcast, man. Something I don't know, but we need a Fuzzy Belvedere YouTube channel. But anyway, guys, it's your host with the most, PTK Blam. Love you guys so much. This has been such a fun show. We have such a good time. Hope you guys enjoy watching. If you're coming in here now, just go ahead. The link will be up. You can go ahead, and I'm going to post it on Twitter as well. Watch the show from the very beginning, man. You guys are amazing. You can catch me across the board, PTK Blam. Hit me up on Xbox Live if you want to do some gaming. PTK Blam as well there. Twitter as well, man. I do the poll of the week, so look forward to that on Monday. Next week, I'm going to let the cat out the bag. We got Lord Cognito coming on the show. So he's been on before, but the Lord is going to bless us. Not the literal Lord. I'm a Christian, not the literal Lord, but Lord Cognito from the round table is going to bless us. He's going to be on the show once again with some great topics, great fun, great energy, man. Hopefully see you guys next week as well. But we're going to wrap this thing up. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have fun. Be safe. Peace out, everybody.
Later.